Hello, world, and welcome to Choices, Books, and Gifts, where you always have choices. So, we're here at another podcast, and I have a very special guest with me today. He's a man that I grew up with named John. We grew up on the Upper East Side, and he's going to tell us about his story. So, I'm going to dive right into some questions, and thank you, John, for joining us.
Thank you, Jay.
You got it, pal. So our first question is, I said a little bit about where'd you grow up, but go in a little bit deeper detail about where you grew up and you know.
No, I was born in New York Hospital. You know that. I was born in New York Hospital, so I was born in the neighborhood, and I grew up on 74th, 75th, and 2nd Avenue. The address was 1435 2nd Avenue. It's still there, the building. So,
All right. I know. And I know, well, I'm going to let you get into that a little later. Can you tell us a bit about your drug and alcohol usage and how it
yeah,
affects?
well, yeah, the streets. I guess I picked up my first joint or beer when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, about 13 years old. Yeah, and it just progressed from there.
All right. So, I know you have quite an eclectic story because I know you do. Can you tell us some of the things, some of the troubles and things you used to get into while you were drinking and drugging?
Oh, absolutely. It was probably fun for the first 2 years. And then 2 days after I turned 16, I got arrested for the first time, and I got arrested with a friend of ours named John. I can't say his last name.
Yeah,
And he was only 15, and we got taken to the 19th precinct, and his father came and got him, and I had to do the whole central booking. And that would be the first time I would get arrested. And I probably got arrested another 50 times after that.
say
And
again, 50,
I
50.
probably got arrested another 50 times after that.
Wow, wow.
And the alcohol really got to me. I was always in the middle of chaos. I never went to school because of the drugs and the alcohol. I never wanted to do anything but get high and drunk. And like I said, that was the first arrest, but then many more would come after that. And I always seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And in 1978, I was out on Queens. I was out in Queens at a bar on Greenpoint Avenue, because there is a part of Greenpoint Avenue that goes into Queens. And I was over there at a bar, and me and a couple of friends, 3 other friends, were walking to Queens Boulevard to get a cab back. And there was some kind of drug deal going on in front of the merry-go-round. The merry-go-round's a very famous strip joint that was there for years and years.
Boulevard.
And bullets just started flying, and I think that the drug dealers thought that we were involved in trying to rip them off or something. And one of my friends caught 4 bullets in the chest. Another friend, he died. Another friend of mine got shot in his leg. And 3 shots were shot at me, but 2 went off the lamppost, and the third one got me in the leg, but it went right through, and I took off. And I knew the guy, my friend who got shot 4 times, he was dead because it was point blank.
Wow.
And,
It's amazing that, you can go, and I know that's just a small part of your trauma and what you've been through. And to you, it was just get up the next day and do it again, correct?
Yeah, it was just keep drunk, keep numb. It was more or less keep numb, keep as numb as I could. And then 6 months later, I was involved in doing some bad robberies. I was doing some bad stuff with a
What were
couple
you
of guys.
stealing? What kind of stuff?
Drugs, drugstores. And, you knew the 2 guys that I was doing it with, Mitchell and Sergio. I don't have to say their last names. And I ended up doing some morphine sulfur, and you're not supposed to go to sleep on that stuff. And me and my friend Mikey were at a friend's house doing it, and they tried to bring Mikey back to life, and they couldn't bring him back to life. He died. Mikey's got 3 other brothers, you know them. And then they took a shot at bringing me back one more time, and for some reason they got me back to life. And I ended up being in Bellevue Hospital for about 6 weeks. I was paralyzed on one side of the body from it. And
It sounds corny, but and I mean this is like you get these little God shots. I mean, you were blessed to live through all these
Right.
tragedies and this toughness, because I truly believe, I know you well, and I know how much service you do, so I know you're here for that reason now. That's what it's all about for you now. um
I'm
when
here
did
to.
you
I
go
just
ahead?
want to say I'm here to say that no matter what happens, if you're still alive, you still can get another chance.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
still can. You can
You
turn things
lost a
around.
lot of good friends and people from this disease.
A lot of pain, a lot of hurt.
Yeah. So with that, Johnny, when did you know you had enough? What needed to happen to change? When did you first go into AA? When did you decide enough is enough? When did that happen?
I was probably going through in and out of detoxes all in the '90s, all in the '90s. But I just couldn't. I couldn't stop. I would go to a detox. I would go to a rehab for 30 days. As soon as I got out, I would go to AA for one day, and then I would drink again.
Right back. How many times did you do that? Do you
I
know?
probably was at, I don't know, 20, 25 rehabs and detoxes. I could name them all. Staten Island, up in Brooklyn, in the Bronx.
So when did it finally take? When did it take?
Well, what happened was I was homeless. I was homeless. And a friend of mine, Bobby, an older guy from the neighborhood, had an apartment in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. First of all, I tried for my family in 1999 to stop, and I did it for a year, but I never talked to anybody, never got a sponsor, never did any of the work. And after I had a year, the guy said to me, "You want to go get dinner after your anniversary?" And I said, "No, I'm going to meet Flacco, and I'm going to go have a Heineken." And I went out for 4.5 more years of torture.
I'll tell
And
you, the way with your drug and alcohol use, I'm amazed you lasted a year without help. That's amazing.
yeah, and I don't know, it was all gone. And then I was sleeping in the street, actually 75th and First Avenue on the corner. We were sleeping over there, a bunch of us. And my friend Bobby saw me, and he took me to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And I wasn't there more than 2 days, and I was wearing an Irish cross, and I was telling the Italians what I thought about them because I was trying to get killed. I didn't have the nerve to kill myself. I didn't want to live anymore. I figured one of them would do me the favor, but it never happened. One guy ended up piping me over the head twice with a steel pipe. I had two big holes in my head, and my friend Bobby took me to the emergency room wrapped in a towel from the club, left me there, and I beat a cab in a blackout because when he got back to the club, I was there trying to get a drink. They thought I was out of my mind.
Wow.
And then Bobby dragged me around the corner. And the next morning, I was crying in the shower. I was bleeding, and I never cried. And I just said, I can't fight this war anymore. And then he took me to Nassau Medical Center detox, and that was 2005, April 26th. So
2005.
April
Yeah.
26th, yeah.
Did
Yes.
you ever go back out again or no?
No, that's it. I've been here since 2005, April 26th.
Excellent.
It wasn't easy.
What were some of the most difficult things, like, in early sobriety, when we're hanging out with people that we still drank with, you still lived in the same neighborhood? What were the challenges for you to stay sober in the beginning?
No, I didn't. When I came out of Nassau County Medical and I went to CK Post Rehab, I went right to a three-way quarterhouse in Freeport, and I stayed here.
For how long?
When I got out, there was a lot of people getting high in the three-quarter-way house, so I ended up getting a job and getting out of there and getting a room in Baldwin. But I stood out here. It was all gone because I had gotten 22 unemployment checks for some reason. I had worked and I wanted an unemployment check, and I got 22 checks and I got out. But I was working for $10 an hour in a bagel store when I first got sober.
That was your sober job.
Yeah. That's what my boy, yeah, because the union, I couldn't get back in the union for 2 years.
Because of your shenanigans?
Right, yeah, they knew that I couldn't rely on me.
Okay.
But the hardest thing was for me was I wasn't like grieving my sister and my grandmother. I was grieving my two best friends when I got here, alcohol and cocaine. That's what I was grieving. I don't know about anybody. They were telling me I couldn't have it anymore for the rest of my life. And when I realized, no, it's just one day at a time, things got easier. But I struggled for like 8 months. I wanted to drink every day, and I did the coffee commitment with a guy that had like 17 years, and he's still doing. He's still seeing a psychiatrist after all these years. He's a good friend of mine, but he says I drove him crazy. And imagine 8 months with me doing coffee on Tuesdays and Fridays.
I don't think I know you. I don't think that would be that tough. All right, let me move on here. So, how did things change for you? You mentioned your sister, your mother, things like that. What happened with your relationships with people and friends? And could you stay, if you committed something, could you stay to it? What changed with you and people in your life?
I just changed people, places, and things. I didn't go back to the city for like 2 years until I had almost 2 years sober.
Yeah.
And then every time I walked into the workshop, somebody told me I owed them money. So that was another thing. So I was making amends all the time. I believed them. So I was paying money. Like every time I went to the workshop, it was costing me money.
And then none of you remember. So maybe somebody was playing you a little bit too. I don't know.
No, a lot of these people had time that was saying it. So.
Oh, all right. We do have to trust them.
And I remembered. I have a good memory. I have a pretty good memory, unfortunately.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good, especially after the way you treated your brain.
I mean, I remember one of my last good New Year's Eves was at your place when you had that party.
Yeah. In the downtown. Yeah. The restaurant, you mean, right?
Yep, 33rd, 34th. Yep.
Yeah. When would you say, how long into it would you say you finally, and I know it's a day at a time, trust me, but when you said, I feel safe, I'm in recovery, I'm good. I like you mentioned the first 8 months, you were very,
I wanted to drink and get high every day.
Right.
But I was, I stood in the middle of the pack. I had a lot of guys that were around me and told me, drink tomorrow, get high tomorrow, and
so after about a year, you felt comfortable?
Right. And then once I got into the work, about 9 months I got into the work and I started to feel a lot better.
When you say the work,
I got into the first 164 pages of the big book.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I got it. And it wasn't so much the drinking and the drugs. It was all the secrets I had. I had a lot of what's the word? I had a lot of, bad stuff happen to me through my years, like my friends getting shot, me almost dying, me getting shot, there was a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of secrets and,
and that stuff we got to heal.
I quit doing that. I quit doing those bad things, and Sergio got killed. 2 days later after I stopped, they got somebody else that didn't do what I did, and
Yeah, that's something. You lost a lot of people, even when you were in recovery. Is there anything now that contribute that can make you think of relapsing, or a trigger, for instance, or that's it, something completely in the past?
No, I can't afford a drink. I know I can't. Listen, my wife died in 2019, and I never thought about a drink.
I'm sorry, and she was a wonderful woman.
Never thought about a drink.
Good.
It wasn't like it was coming. It was all of a sudden. It was I took her to the hospital on a Thursday, and she died the next day. So.
And you guys knew nothing about it beforehand, an illness or anything?
Just that she was feeling sick. That's all. She had walking pneumonia, she had septic, and she had COVID. So she just got hit with all three things at once. It was too much.
Yeah, that's a lot of things to get hit with. What would you say to someone like, I know how much work you do. So say somebody first comes in the rooms and says, I need help. What do you say to that person?
What do I say to him? I say to him, you're going to be okay one day at a time. It's only only have to take care of today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just worry about today. You're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
And I always tell them to stay and get a bunch of people and stay with them. Stay in the middle of people. When I got here, I had a bunch of guys at Merrick Belmore that had me in the middle of them all the time. And that, I felt safe.
So did you have any guys that, you used to use with that were sober?
No, I didn't know any of these guys. No, I didn't know any of them.
Okay. That's wild, man. Wild. What would you say is the number one, no, the best five things that you do now to keep up your recovery, to do, is it consistency, is it steps, meetings, sponsorship, talking, what works for
I
you?
stay in the middle every day. I wake up and I pray, and I'm always staying out of here. Worst neighborhood in the world is up here. I make no lie. If you ask Nancy, my girlfriend, I must make 100 phone calls a day. I don't like
100.
texting. I'm always on the phone. I
You're
always go
just
to a
like checking
meeting.
up on people, helping them, things of that
Helping,
nature.
talking to people. I talk to the people with a lot more time than me. I just like to stay in the center of the program. I go to a meeting every day, even when I'm on vacation. I went to vacation in Florida for 6 days. I was at a meeting every day. I'm always at a meeting. Like I spoke this afternoon at 12 o'clock. I'll be at a meeting at 7:30 tonight.
Is it a home group kind of
No,
thing?
it's not a home group. It's just a meeting I go to on Thursday nights.
Now, with the world and how it's changed, do you go more to physical, Zoom, both? How do you stay sober?
I always go physical. I only did Zoom when you had to. I'm physical every time, every day. Like tomorrow, I got a busy day. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in Staten Island at 10 o'clock in the morning speaking. Then I got to go up to the Bronx at 2 o'clock and introduce two people that are going to speak at a meeting. I'm going to be the leader for them. And then I got to go to New York City tomorrow and speak at 6:30. So tomorrow, I don't like doing two in a day, but they they ask me and I don't want to say no.
You can never say no. We just
I
don't.
try not to, but I know what two a day. For me to speak twice in a day, it drains me. It
Oh, it
really
does.
drains me because it's emotional.
It is. It is. It is. Do you work with people too? Like, do you have sponsees and things of that
I
nature?
only believe in three sponsors at a time. I think
But
that
that's
more than
great.
three
You can give them
sponsors,
a lot.
I think it's not fair to them, and I don't think it's fair to me.
Right. So they can, and with three, you can give them your full attention.
Right. I don't have time for 20. That's ridiculous. For me, that's for me. I just don't have that kind of time because I'm busy with other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have one that's been through the book already. I've taken. He's got 5 years, and then I got another guy who just celebrated a year, and I got another guy with 6 months. So maybe when this guy gets into his year, then maybe I'll be able to take another one on. But I don't. I'm not one of those. I believe if you don't stay humble, you're going to stumble. Oh, I got 40 people. I don't. I'm not God. I'm John. I'm one
Yeah.
person.
I mean,
That's for me, though.
hear
That's
you.
my belief.
And I understand that, and I gotta reiterate it. I agree. How much can you do? I know when I haven't had a sponsor in a long time now, but when I did, I would meet with them, each once a week for at least 2 hours in my house, taking them through the big book of, Alcoholics Anonymous. So it was, and that's the thing that really gets you. I mean, program's great, the meetings are great, the people are great, but you got to find out about all that stuff inside you. What you just said, Jay, it was not only
You
the
got to
drug.
clean the house. If you don't clean the house, like I had one guy, he always had so many excuses. I had him stay at my house for 5 days, and we did
Wow.
work. We did work for 5 straight days, and now he's got 5 years.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story, John. I mean
Right, but
that.
he could have said no, But I said, listen, let's stop. Let's just come over for 5 days. We'll work every day a couple hours. We'll go to a meeting. We'll hang out. See what I mean? But that's a lot of my time I'm giving up.
Yeah,
But he was willing to come. So if he's willing to come, then I'm going to give my time up.
yeah, yeah.
But I just don't believe in that 20. I know guys say I got 20 sponsors. What do you know? You don't sleep? So it's just for me. I mean, everybody does it their own way. But no matter what, if you're looking for me, you're always going to find me in the middle of the program. I'm always in the middle.
I love it.
Anybody that knows me knows if I'm not around, I'm in another meeting. You know,
Yeah, I
like
think
I'll be in Jersey next Wednesday. I'll be in Philly the following Monday. I'm always.
Do you think the service is a big part of why you stay? Why your program's so strong?
I think God's the reason. God. It's God, AA, and then me. But yeah, no, I have the time, and I like to travel. I like to go to different people. I don't like it. I don't like to go to the same meeting and say it gets stale. I don't want it to ever get stale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's big. All right, so I mean, I love what we talked about. I love you, but we're going to be coming to an end of this. Is there any, parting words or something you want to say to the people that are, just coming around or not quite in yet, but they're on the fence? What, what
Yeah.
can you
Come
leave us
here
with?
and try. Come here and try it. If you don't like it, you can leave. That's what I was told. Nobody forces you to come here. Come here and see how you feel after those 90 days, like they say. See how you feel.
You'll do a 90 and 90 is
Do
what
the
you would
90
say.
days. Yeah, 90. See how you feel. You know what I mean? Nobody forces us to stay. And you know what? I'll help anybody, but I'm only responsible to help the person. I'm not responsible for the outcome, whether they're going to stay, whether they're going to. So I don't get hurt. Like people say, oh, my sponsor went out. That has nothing to do with me.
I
I'll do
agree.
anything I can to help you stay here. But if you want to go out, I can't stop you. I'm not a cop. I'm just another alcoholic. I'll try
Yeah.
to teach you how to make, but it's like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster. And no matter how dark it gets in Alcoholics Anonymous, I guarantee you this, if you don't pick up a drink, the light will shine again.
Yeah.
Not in my time, but it'll shine. I went through a real dark time when my wife died for a year, but I went to meetings every day. And that was
Right.
during
And
COVID.
that,
And
in
I was
case
going to the park.
people don't know, he lost his wife in sobriety. I just want to say sometimes, like, what I've noticed in the program and things of that nature is it's the people sometimes who suffered the most. Like, you suffered tremendously. You were brought back to life. You've been shot. You lost tons of friends. And it's amazing because when guys like you get it, you give so much of it away. You're so grateful that you have God and this program in your life, and you guys just, I mean, I know you, I know how much you do, and I just want to salute you for that, and I want to tell you, I think you're a wonderful guy, and
Okay.
keep up the good work.
Can I say one thing, Jay?
You could
Which
say
is,
as many
I'm
things as
just
you
another
want.
I'm just another alcoholic. There's nobody better than me, and I'm not better than anybody.
Absolutely.
I
And
don't never want to
humility
be.
is another attractive thing. Humility
And
is
know
a,
what? We're bigger than the mafia. There's nobody that we can't call to find out something. So,
yeah,
there's somebody that knows what's going on. No matter what you have going on in your life, there's somebody that's been through it already or will go through it.
absolutely.
So I just
Absolutely.
try to share my experience, strength, and hope. My sponsor asked me a question about 3 months ago, and I said, let me call you back in 5 minutes. I got to think about it. I called
Yeah,
three guys with 40 years, and they gave me the answer. He said, you think
yeah.
quick. I said, no, I made 3 phone calls. We don't have to be alone. We got people in all areas. I'm telling you, we're bigger than the mafia. We
Yeah,
are.
I know what.
I always
When I got sober, my brother just said, "Jay, listen, you're 37 years old, and there's nothing's been working for you. Nothing." He says, "I want you to just sit back and listen to everybody in AA. Make sure they're good people, they're solid, and all that." And I swear to God, John, I didn't make one decision for an entire year. I counted on everybody else to do it for me, and it worked miraculously. And I,
well,
like you said, I'm a big God component too. I really am.
I hope we help somebody. That's all. I just hope
Yeah,
that somebody sees this and just one person, and I'll be happy.
that's
As
it.
long as
I
we help
agree.
somebody.
I agree.
But it's a lot easier here than it is out there. I drank for 29 years and I did the other stuff for 25, believe me. And I swam through it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would go out on Tuesday, I would get home Saturday. So, it wasn't like, for a couple of drinks or a couple of snorts. So
yeah, yeah.
thank you so much. Anytime you need me, let me know.
You will be joining us again if you'll have us.
Yeah,
We'll.
whenever you need.
All right. God bless, John. Have a great day.